I see obvious too. Can't remember names. Popularity sucks. You don't want popular. You don't see crowd with your heart cuts. Especially if you go to the eye strong from front. Listen. And since I got popular, they steady be trying to blast me. They ginger cause I'm all up in their face like acne. Little kids, I'm your people.
I refuse to be a normal person. I refuse to do the normal deeds. I refuse to approach life through norm.
Like Jack, but
I'd rather be different. I'd rather be special. I'd rather be extra. I can sit down and out-rap any rapper you bring to me. That has been the mindset for the longest. It's been kill all the rappers. Like, you don't understand where I can take rap to, really. I've not shown you half of it. But then again, it takes a lot of mental energy to detach yourself from the said awesomeness that you feel on the inside, your God-given talent, the awesomeness you feel about it. It takes a lot of mental strength to detach yourself from that and be more organic, without a point to prove.
Always ready to show what's under the dress. You want to be popular, you better be ready to count all the Draculas and bloodsuckers combining the suckers. You lose, smaller day.
My best friend used to live here.
Why am I showing the world? Why am I exposing who I am to the world? Why am I being myself? It's okay to be yourself after a while. It's okay to get lost, but it's most important to get found afterwards.
If you know my story, oh yeah, shut your mouth. But if they know where you're going, then go block your route.
Lafayette is not just the regular vector trying to kill every rapper. Stray bullets to touch some people shall based on as they go. But it's not about the stray. I know a lot of songs will be misguided towards speaking to certain people, certain lines, but that's not the idea. The idea is ultimately, this is how I am. This is where I'm coming from. And it all turns up from the one part where I was in court. And a fleet of goons walked in. And it kind of like created a pause moment in court. And after that, we stepped out. And I walked with them from the court to the hood. And it was a crowd of people. Upon getting to the hood, you will not believe this. People you call touts, area boys, low lives, no lives type people that people refer them to generally, just got together and prayed.
As for the music, I do harder cause I know 1-0 hits like a new blogger.
Now that meant a lot to me because all of us, if you know, when someone prays for you, you don't appreciate it until you think about how hard it is for you to pray a lot of time. At that moment, I understood what it means to not segregate or separate yourself or feel like what you believe in is better than the other person's beliefs. It was like everybody coming together. Like at that moment, it was earth and nature, it was life coming together and making sense for me. Where did this happen? Lafayette. Where was I born? Lafayette. Where was the court? Lafayette. You know what I said? There's a line on the album that says, for those of you on your high horses, watch your horses liver, cause the fall of a man is the rise of a stronger man. The knife we man make, 9 days slaughter man. Now, this is it. What is perceived as the fall in my career at that moment happened around where I was born. So in my head, the germinal seed had to fall, get in the dirt, reborn myself, and grow a better tree. Now, this might sound all too philosophical to guys, but you don't understand. It's funny. my court case started in Lafayette. I had one of the hearings in Lafayette. I was born on Lagos Island. Well, Island maternity, but I grew up in Lafayette. And it makes sense. It's time for you to bask in the ambience of where you're from. Something that means so much life to me, career-wise meant intended death. I could only take that same thing and create life out of it, hence the album. And the first track on the album, I was born in the White Garment Church. I had to go deep back into myself, my subconscious and conscious, find everything I could about myself from the beginning, like birth. And took our Yodupe, the song they sing every time worldwide in any Celestial Church of Christ. When they birth a child, that is the song they sing every time it happens. So, Lafayette, birthplace, the upbringing, the growth, the fall, the regrowth had to be the same.
Delicious crackers.
Why you there looking like a king of the world, no throne fight, no. Future looking like it's never no night. I can't lose competition, should've known right.
Contrary to what people think, I think a white man would rather see what's that in the video? Like, why you there looking like a cow? I can't see masquerade. I think I know that the Western world or anybody who's not aware of anything going on in Nigeria will be way more interested in seeing that which they are not accustomed to. Keyword here being custom. That which they are not accustomed to over me. But then again, it's time for us all, me in my head, it's time for Vector to be, why is he even Vector? It's not Vector because Vector is a cool English word or one American guy. Like, it's pretty much Vector because he was in physics class in St. Gregory's College in Obalende. Yeah, it's time for people to see all that. I did a show in Houston, Texas. I went there with 2 Ayo masquerades and students from the TSU, Texas Southern University. And it was awesome. And everybody enjoyed it because they saw the guy in Agbada rapping, students there looking, well, cliche thoughts of African tying stuff around their waist and everything. Pretty much traditional ideologies of what a warrior looked like in Africa, maybe like in Eastern Nigeria. And we had the performance and it was entertaining for people in America to watch because they've only seen Ayo in pictures on YouTube, baby. They've not really seen it live. And little did everybody know that the Olori Ayo of Nigeria, like Obadosumu, was there. I'm about to just go open the Ayo and say, hey, who are you? And the guy was like, what? And I'm like, don't say anything. He has every right anywhere in the world to do this. And that makes sense. So there's a Nigerian there saying that, oh wow, so there's a man from Nigeria that has the power to challenge anybody wearing the masquerade attire, like the Ayo, the white attire. He has the right to challenge anybody that does that. It's time for me to show them those kind of things that make sense to us. I'm from Lagos. I was born in Lagos, I'm from Ogun State, but I was born in Lagos. I'm a Yoruba person, we have culture, we have tribe. I need to show that. I need to take my music and blend it with Igbo music. Baba King Kong was at Logo and track. It only makes sense that for us to grow in life, we must show them who we really are so they can understand you better. Once you see Barak Boys and understand how we act, you know how I react to certain things. I'm not cool with fuckery. Like being a talk here type person, being a Baba, not beating. You know, so like it's where I'm from, how I grew up, you fight for your respect. So if you're not willing to fight for your respect, it doesn't make sense to me. So people need to see all these things. So when you see me out there and I'm just pretty much like posted up, I miss a lot of bullshit that happens, you know, this one is so indie. And when you hear Yoruba in the music, you know that he's not trying to tag onto something that is trending. This is who he is. People forget that the first single ever they heard, well, like after I got signed, was Kilo Day. So it's time for me to show them where all those things are coming from. And I've signed myself an autograph that dates back 17 years ago. I signed it on the wall, Vector the Viper, promising myself that I'll be able to do this, not to myself anymore, but to people who appreciate me as an art. You need to see that and see the value of the covenant between me and my God. Like, dear Lord, I will become this guy that does this on a daily basis. Now, fast forward to now. When you're in Gregory's College and I'm doing that on ties, and I can't even do it the same way I put it on the wall because I have to shorten it to make time to deal with a lot of people. You see what I'm saying? Lafia G is the basis that grew all these things. Why won't I show you? You already know that I'm a rapper. I've won lyricists on the road, best rap single, New York, Nigeria. I've done Artist of the Year. I've won, King Kong has won a lot of awards as well with Koson. Every other thing, I've gotten nominated, I've gotten plaques and all that. It's time for you to know the foundation of all that God's glory that you've seen.
Lagos Island, I want to take me go. Lafia G red and white line, want to take me walk. I want to take me hard, I want to take me soft. Gunshots, I want to hit the floor.
Lafia G is a very hard part of Lagos, but then again, it's very calm. Like, there are those guys, you know those people you don't want it with. They're like the nerds in a rap battle. It's like disaster. They know too much, but they don't show it. They look nerdy, they look like the goofs, but they really make things happen. Now, I like calm music. Lafia G, like the kind of music that goes on Lagos Island in general, there's a lot of message and adages and proverbs. So, listening to this now, listening to me before, better be careful of what you want and go after, because the same thing that opened Adam's eyes closed the batches. That is Lafia G music. Just in rap. You always listen to tracks from, I can't remember their names right now. My mom had a bunch of tapes. I'm not saying CDs, tapes, cassettes. Excuse me, she had that. And the music has always been that. So listening to the album now, it'll take you into coming from the mindset of a rapper, sense. And I dare say it is not just lyrical supremacy sense, but proper sense. Like, you're listening to music and like, like, there's a track titled Till Daybreak, TDB. When you hear that, you hear both the calmness and like when it gets crazy, we're crazy, but then again, we get back calm. All I Know, Adura, things that are the average things that go on in Lafia G. I just want you to see that. But then again, maybe you're able to find similarities between what you're going through and what I'm showing you that we always go through, or we've been through, or we are going through. Maybe you will find sense and make reason and be like, okay, so nobody will let me feel this type of way. Based on money hustle, based on other types of hustle, based on perspective to life, based on what you feel about governance. But in a subtle way, So Lafia G, the album will be a lot more. It'll be rap. It will be soul. Mostly soul. Not as in soul musical, but like music that will be heartfelt. Even if it's groove, right, it'll be heartfelt. Of course, Lafia G is not just Yoruba people. There are Igbo people doing, like, a lot of Igbo, too many, like, I won't say too many because that sounds like I'm saying it's too much. But we have a lot of Igbo people in Lafia G, a lot of Hausa people doing business and living in Lafia G. So the music taste in Lafia G is quite eclectic, if I may say, or dynamic. It's back and forth. So this album will be that, back and forth. It's my time to shine with no surrender. Yes, it's my work. Yeah. To the SK, let's say I feel every day and my birthday. I chill anyway with the nice sense going upstairs, but I'm not lifeless. I mean, ultimately, the younger generation here that we mean is, well, foundationally Nigeria. But then again, to anybody to whom it may concern, to anybody who cares to listen or understand, what this album is doing. This album is pretty much telling you to be yourself. It's funny because this is me being myself on any level of talent that I have. Production, I produced a couple tracks. I made sure I produced. I didn't make sure. I just made tracks that were album worthy, not just fillers. They were album worthy. You would listen to them over and over again. I sang on this album because unknown to a lot of people, I was in the mass choir all my life in church, and I was the lead tenorist. I scrutinized instrumentation on the music as well because I play one or two instruments, small. Of course, I definitely rapped on the album. I also adapted on the album. You see, all these things are things you need to know in life. So the younger generation, they will know to adapt and make sense of that adaptation. They will know to be themselves, but then again, still follow trends. So what are we saying? If this is trendy, add to that trend. Don't just continue to feed and take away from the trend. Add to it, add to it. Before King Kong was trap music, after King Kong is a lot of trap music with Atilobu. Shout out to all the artists who followed suit. It's awesome to see that we start something by ourselves and it grows. The only thing you can compare to this is the whole Fela Afrobeat movement, where you take who you are and take your knowledge of music, i.e. who he is, jazz music, he reworks it, and boom, Afrobeats. So who I am, hip hop, high life, soul, trap, everything put together, reworked, Lafiaji.
So baby, call me Babanyaro. I'm quick with it, girl, get with it. Don't drag unless it's claro. Let me feel in the space, you feel hollow. Be the mouth for the other place. Let the other place run like it's in a race. I'm talking about drip shit.
You know, welcome to Club Beckley, man. Everybody now bounce down. Club Beckley. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. Club Beckley, you know, your dream. The music is natural. The high is natural.
See your body looking sharp. See your body razor blade.
When you look at me, body, me have this somebody. When you look at me, body, hey, I want to love you.
This is the most appealing album you hear in a long time from any Nigerian, because it will cater to a lot of feelings that you have. That's what your album should be. It should be like dynamic feelings, all sonically arranged to please the audience, whoever is listening. And that is what this album exactly is. Ladies are going to love it a lot, Sha. Ladies are going to love it a lot because he has a lot of soul. So have we considered commerciality in the album? Yes, we have. Is it stupid commerciality? No, it isn't. Connecting with the older audience, yes. May so rest in peace. Orlando Owo is like an uncle to me. We never met when he was alive. He's weird. But my mom spoke to him every time on the phone. And every time she went to Ondo State, wherever they met, they had the conversation. But you know me now, at that period, it was still very much, yo, citizens of the world, you know what I mean? But I appreciated his music, but I just didn't take time into trying to, I wish I knew then what I know now. Would have had a massive jam together. But moving on now, experience and everything and how people have seen me handle myself, my social media life, things I'm interested in, things I put up, things I say, how I say them, has kind of like defined me into, he's quite very grown. So the music has gone from just why they looking like a cowhead to Chicago to if you know my story, oh yeah, shut your mouth.
If you know my story, oh yeah, shut your mouth.
My nigga from the side of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Keep quiet.
So if I've done that, it only makes sense for the older audience to say, God bless you, we understand your music because you're giving us music. So will the album be that as well? Yes, of course it will. There will be music that will have, I like when fans tweet and say stuff like, yo man, my mom won't let me, she's just disturbing the whole house with Vector's jams. You know what that means? Like when your mother is playing your favorite artist song, maybe not the one you like, but the one that appeals to her. Yeah, all those are very essential for a serious-minded artist who wants to stay long. I mean, I watched King Sunny Ade at 70. Baba was still performing. But let's be real, let's come at it from a selfish perspective. Who doesn't want to be collecting 15 million at 70? All of us still want to, like, you know, if you're a musician, you want to be collecting bar at 70. Let them just come and sit down and come and give them, yes, she does, she was, no, that's Shina Peters. But like I was at the Penalty concert, Shina Peters killed the show. So yes, I appreciate God in my life for giving me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be able to make music that appeals to every age bracket that cares to listen.
Remember all those rappers who don't believe say we fit make am. You can't be like say nowadays he forget. Yes, sir. Based on say both of us stand nowadays in for sweat. But at the same time, we they carry crown for head and we dey with goons, we they carry king for chest. See, some men go hold camera, some men go hold gun.
Yeah.
Some men go wait to go make some men go run.
Yeah.
I young bad do pass am based on say na so they go. God they do pass am based on say na so they go. We dey boss anyhow because na time dey here.
2 hours,
When Vector do 2-hour freestyle, because na rhyme dey here. All the logo lomo no go in be Osha because na shrine dey there. They say it too sweet based on say if you look the flow, sugar, salt, Korean time.
I want everybody after this album to be able to be free in their spirit, be free in your spirit to be more than anybody thinks you are or more than you already are. Because people will try to box you in, they've tried to box me into that, yo, you're that rapper, you're that MC. No, it's bigger than rap, it's bigger than MCing, it's music, it's a calling, it's spirit. How do you say no to your spirit? Like how do you say no to your spirit when you have the right notes in your head and it makes sense to you? How do you say no to that? Because people think you're a rapper and you should stay that way. You know what I mean? So this is pretty much a legacy that will trail people, that after a long time, people will be able to say, yeah, do whatever you want to do. Vector did it. He did whatever he wanted to do on that album. And it is the biggest album, like it is going to be the biggest work I've done so far. Because it is the most dynamic, like push play to the bonuses, you're not stopping. And that's the legacy. Let's let everybody be free to do whatever they want to do creatively and make sense of it. So one word that describes Lafiaji, classic.
You don't see crowd, we your heart.